Rainbow FM 90.7.
I'm pleased to host the Samsodien Foundation, an NPO that provides inbound assist programs and outreach services for public benefits with the aim to increase access to benefits and services for more people so that the overall quality of life improves. In studio, I have Clayton Samsodien, the founder, chairman, and public officer of the Samsodien Foundation.
Good afternoon to you.
Welcome to Rainbow FM 90.7.
Thank you so much for having me, and hello to your listeners.
Thank you so much for taking the time out. Briefly tell us about yourself. Who is Clayton Samsodien?
Clayton Samsodien is a gentleman that was born in District 6. So that's a long time ago. And let me try and kind of put it into a nutshell for you. Yeah, so I was born in District 6. I was born Muslim, and moving on, we were evicted out of District 6 because of the Group Areas Act. Mm-hmm. And then at the age of 19, I converted to Christianity, and I was blessed to be baptized by Archbishop Desmond Tutu and confirmed as well, at that time in the Anglican Church. Mm-hmm. And so moving forward, I married. We had 3 kids, my wife and I. And then after 18 years of marriage, she was unfortunately brutally murdered. And
in Cape Town?
In Cape Town, yeah. That was around, well, now it's about 16 years ago. And and then my late daughter, she passed on of diabetes type 1 at the age of 26. I then remarried to Pastor Eleanor, which is well known, I think. And today we have a big family of 6 children.
Wow.
Yeah, and God's been good. I've been in business for almost 30 years now. And I had a bit of illness and back again in the driving seat of business and established the Samsodien Foundation.
So before we go into the foundation, you say you were born Muslim but
Yes.
converted to Christianity at the age of 19.
Correct.
How did your family feel about that?
So, unfortunately, that's the issue of being disowned and being abandoned. It's just, I think, I'm not, I pray for people, particularly my family. And the reason for that is just that I think they believe that that's what they had to do. I don't take it personally, but it was tough. It was difficult having to navigate your way through life from a young age.
I can imagine. Now, tell us about your organization. I believe you started this NPO in the midst of a global pandemic. Share with us.
That's correct, yeah. So I think there are 3 things that culminated together to launching the foundation. The one, obviously, big driver was my late daughter, Roxanne. And she was just a lover of people like I am, like we are. And she always did things for people and children that she didn't know. And so, after 5 years of having to go through what I think most parents would do if they had to lose a child, it so happened that at the same time we were in this global pandemic. And the other component was, my wife and I always felt that we wanted to do something bigger than just where we would normally operate in. So all 3 culminated into the establishment and launch of the Samsodien Foundation. The one was my late daughter, the other was the pandemic, and of course the fact that we wanted to do more and reach more people. And so what we've been doing is, I think one day I was watching television and I can still picture it in my mind, 3 kilometers long of people waiting for food parcels. And I thought, this is just not a government problem. It's not just a business problem. Individuals should also do something. And that just spurred on, now is the time to do it.
That was going to be my next question. Were you inspired by, was it an aha moment, to start this NPO? But you just mentioned now that you were moved when you saw on television the 3 kilometers of people, and you thought to yourself, you and your wife, how can we make a difference? And that's exactly what you did.
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. I'm joined in studio by the founder, chairman, and public officer of the Samsodien Foundation. Powerful testimony. He was born in District 6 in Cape Town, born Muslim but converted to Christianity at the age of 19, baptized and confirmed by Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and he mentioned that this led to the family disowning him. So you had many challenges as a young person. You're also mentioning that you underwent some sicknesses, some illnesses. You can share with that before we continue.
Okay, so in 2018 I was, I couldn't balance. I happened in the shower. I didn't know what was going on. And to cut the long story short, I was then admitted to hospital, and they discovered a brain tumor. It was about 3 millimeters from my brainstem. And then I went through chemotherapy, radiotherapy, cortisone therapy, and I think a lot of people wrote me off. There was one Christmas, I think in 2019, that the family thought I wasn't going to make it. But as I just said, God is good.
Yes.
God is faithful. And then in January 2020, miraculously, the tumor just regressed. It's so tiny now that you can't even pick it up. And then I just got stronger and stronger. And if I look at the time from January to now, it's just been phenomenal, the healing process. And I'm so grateful for everyone's prayers and support.
Ek is baie geïnspireerd met wat ek vandag gehoor het, en die feit dat jy deur alles wat jy deurgegaan het nog steeds, you still go out and you make a difference in other people's lives. Now share with us about your organization, the Samson Foundation. Share with us what is it exactly that you are doing in the community.
Thank you so much. So maybe let me first start by saying that when I designed the foundation, it was important that we have technology and the relevant backup and CRM systems to enable us to reach people all over South Africa. It wasn't just a matter of in a specific community. The reach was to demonstrate that we can reach different parts of the country. And the only way to do that is via technology and a good website and a good CRM. So that was, I think, the kind of foundation to the foundation. The next component was we didn't just want to be an outreach type of service where we just go into communities when there is funding. So what we did was we also launched Phoenix Financial Services Group, and that was during the pandemic too, and it has 5 subsidiaries. But Phoenix Financial Services Group is the main funder to the Samsodien Foundation. So the business is actually the vehicle to drive the foundation, and the foundation is the purpose of what we want to achieve. The second thing we did was we wanted to have both inbound and outbound services. So what we then did was we put together an assist package, and we named that after my late daughter Roxanne. So it's called Roxy Assist Services, and that's an inbound service. So what would happen is anyone in the country, in South Africa, can register for that services on our website. It is free. The foundation pays for it. You get registered as a member for you and your family, and children up to 25 if they're studying. And that particular service gives you access to a 24/7 medical advice line, a trauma advice line, emotional counseling. It goes into legal assist, financial counseling, HIV prevention and treatment, rape, assault counseling, gender-based violence counseling, and also a care line for those that need assistance or support with COVID-19. So that's an inbound service, and you'll now understand why it was important that we do this via a web and cloud-based system, so that anyone anywhere can actually register, and the system works like a sewing machine, and people are registered, and within 72 hours, and if less, they can access the service. The second component was the outreach service, and here we focus mainly on services that are for public benefit, and that would include disaster relief, poverty relief. It also includes gender-based violence, looking after or providing support for elderly, and promotion of human rights and advocacy, and all that sort of thing. So what we've then done too was again to make that outreach service available via our website. So if you'd go to www.samsodien.co, you'd be able to request an outreach service and kind of stipulate what it is that you require. We have a funding committee that look at all requests, and then of course we get back to whoever had requested an outreach service. So it works really efficiently. I think we've really benefiting from technology, and yeah. So I think that puts it in a nutshell for you. I hope.
I had like 10 questions.
Go for it.
You answered all of them. You answered exactly the next question I wanted to ask. You were just mentioning, I was going to ask you about your inbound, your outreach services. You've mentioned all of that. But share with me some of the challenges that you've experienced during this time.
I think I can't actually say it was anything was a challenge. I think it was more of a joy, you know. The first thing one of our really first events was with the Eldorado COVID-19 disaster relief committee, as well as with the Yellow Ribbon Foundation, and we partnered with them, and we went into the community. I was blown away when I walked into the hall in Eldorado and I saw food for 600 people. It was just like mind-blowing. And then going out with the team and handing out the food parcels, there's a connection with the person on the other side. And so they look into your eye and you look into their eye, and it's like, you know, the giver and the receiver, and there's like a deep connection there. And that just drives you again. So fortunately, I must tell you, I can't think of any challenges. It's just been
a blessing
and an amazing journey so far.
Who would you recommend to contact your NPO?
So, you know, I'm the kind of guy that like to get my hands dirty and in the trenches. So, you know, I have, I'll give you the email address. It's info@samsodien.co, and anyone is welcome to email me, or you could go to our website, which is www.samsodien.co, and you'd be able to log a query there or request any type of service, whether it's the Roxy Assist services or outreach services. And don't be surprised if you see me on the other side. Wow. And why? Because it's just something so close to our hearts that I really want to just watch it and keep my eye on it.
Now we're in the 16th day of activism.
Yes.
What word of encouragement before we wrap up would you give to our listeners?
The first thing I think is that we have a global drive for activism to eliminate the violence against women and children, and I think that's important. So you'll notice if you go to our websites and to my Facebook page or LinkedIn, we've colored things orange because that's the theme. And so I think there's really great, I think the word of encouragement to people out there is that it's now being taken really, really serious at a global level. And that drive, I think, is important. The other thing is that the stats are coming out. There's 35% of women that are being abused in some way or another. And that's ridiculous. It means if you had a party and 10 women were there, 3.5 of them would have been abused in some way or another. And we need to stop that. And so I'm pleased to see that there's more men coming on board, joining this fight. And I think it's bringing more peace of mind to women that, you know, this thing is being taken seriously now. And I'm also encouraged by so many businesses, large companies that are funding and donating to this particular cause in many, many ways. We, as an example, are looking to partner with a particular safe house. It's very popular. We've had so many requests. And of course, I don't want to mention the name right now, but we're looking to see how can the Samsodien Foundation improve the conditions in the safe house. And just because they're doing such wonderful work, not only for women, but for abused children and neglected children too.
Do yourself a favor, if you're listening, go to the website www.samsodien.co.za.
No, .co, yeah.
Or you can email info@samsodien.co.
Correct.
It was such a powerful session. Unfortunately, we are pressed for time. We need to go for the provincial news, but it was a pleasure having you in the studio. I'm inspired with what you are doing, and may the good Lord continue to bless the beautiful work that you are doing.
Thank you so much, and thank you to your listeners.
Thank you so much. And that was the founder of Samsodien Foundation. Powerful testimony and beautiful work that they are doing. You can go to their website, www.samsodien.co, or email at info@samsodien.co.
Rainbow FM 90.7.